I've got so many. I could be here for a really long time, but I'll go through one that stands out recently in my memory. We took Vicky to Tenby, which was a place we used to go with Vicky when she was younger, and they've got accessible houses around Tenby that are all adapted with changing place facilities, toilets, wet rooms, ceiling track hoists, profile beds, which to us, that's exactly what we need. That's the mandatory equipment that we require when we go and take Vicky anywhere on holiday. If it doesn't have any of those things, it's not accessible. So we have to have a certain amount of equipment. It has to have ramps, it has to not have steps, it has to have widened doors, it has to have a wet room. The ceiling track hoist is so important for Vicky because she's, with her complex needs and with her cerebral palsy, she's got irregular movements, which she can't help. So that ceiling track hoist protects us when we're sort of lifting and kind of manual handling and personal care, specialist shower chairs, you name it. The equipment's quite heavy when we go anywhere. So the houses are adapted there. That's great. But Tenby is also the most hilliest place I think I've ever been to. That all being said, it wasn't that was the issue. I couldn't take Vicky into a pub that didn't have steps in. There was not one. All Vicky wanted to do on holiday, she's 34 now, she wants to go into a pub and have a Malibu and Coke or whatever she likes to drink and do what people do when they go on holiday, right? That's it. And we went out day after day and just couldn't find any venues, even the shops. And I get it. It's a very old historic town with cobbled pavements and cobbled streets and all of that. However, there was no attempt at even becoming accessible. So there was no press this button here and we will let you in a side entrance, or come in and ask and we can put a ramp out for you. Some places could. There was just nowhere we could go. So we were then having to drive out of Tenby to find places to take Vicky that were suitable, that are typically accessible, like Wetherspoons and that kind of. There are other pubs and venues, I'm sure you have to, I don't know what you have to say on your podcast, but yeah, places that are accessible. That I just found Tenby was like the most inaccessible place that I'd gone to. On a positive note, I went to Calvert Trust recently and we took some citizens from Cerebral Palsy Midlands, and they were amazingly accessible. They'd got everything. Every single room there had, wet room facilities, ceiling track hoists, profile beds. If when you got there you needed a sound monitor or you needed a mini fridge for the medication or you needed anything, they would just really help you. They'd got washing facilities. And then if you went to the chefs and you said, oh, this person needs it blended because they've got dysphagia, no problem. And I need a bigger quilt because this person likes to be really tucked in because they've got involuntary movements. Yeah, no problem. And the whole place had got accessible activities. And there are really good places out there that we should sort of, I suppose, maybe promote as being like the champions of being accessible. So that the other places, other facilities or other businesses can look at the champions and go, oh, that's how we do it. That's what we need to have in place.